Let me ask you, what would it take for you to become a millionaire in just 30 days? A daunting question, right? But what if I told you that you don't need external conditions to change first? You only need to change one thing, your assumption. The law of assumption states that what you assume to be true will become true in your world. If you assume you are a millionaire, you will embody the feelings, actions, and experiences of a millionaire, and in doing so, the universe will have no choice but to mirror your internal state and bring it into your physical reality. This is the key to manifesting wealth, and it's far simpler than you might think. The first step is to assume the feeling of being a millionaire. Imagine what it would feel like to wake up with $1 million in your bank account. What would you do? How would you think? Would you feel calm, empowered, confident? Immerse yourself in that feeling as if it has already happened. This is the assumption you must hold in your mind consistently. In just 30 days, if you continuously practice the law of assumption and embody the feeling of being a millionaire, you will see the external world begin to shift. Opportunities will arise, ideas will come to you, and the path will unfold naturally. The key is to assume that wealth is yours, and your circumstances will bend to your assumption. You have within you the power to create your life. You are not bound by external conditions or limitations. You are the master of your destiny, and the world is yours to shape. So go ahead, become the millionaire you've always wanted to be in just 30 days. The power is already within you. Imagine for a moment that you have everything you've ever wanted. Picture it clearly in your mind. The house, the car, the freedom to do what you love, the security to provide for yourself and your loved ones without worry. Now pause for a second and ask yourself, how would I feel if this were already my reality? The answer to that question holds the key to unlocking your desires. It's not enough to merely dream about a better life. To bring your dreams into reality, you must first step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is where the journey begins, and it all starts with the most powerful tool you possess, your imagination. Every single person has within them the ability to create the life they desire. It's not about waiting for the right circumstances to fall into place, nor is it about relying on luck or chance. The reality you experience is a direct result of your thoughts and feelings. If you want to manifest wealth, success, or any other desire, you must first embody the emotions and assumptions of having already achieved that goal. This is the core principle behind creating lasting change in your life. Living in the end, in the assumption that what you desire is already true. Imagine for a moment that you are already wealthy. What would you feel in that moment? Would you feel a sense of freedom, security, or excitement? How would you speak, act, and think if your financial goals were already realized? Would your posture change, your mindset shift, or your confidence soar? These questions are not to be taken lightly, for they are the blueprint to shaping your reality. The truth is, everything you experience in your external world is a reflection of your inner state. Thoughts, emotions, and beliefs you hold within you ultimately manifest themselves in the physical world. The challenge is, most people wait for their external circumstances to change before they feel the feelings associated with their desires. They think, I'll be happy when I have the money. I'll feel secure when I have the house. I'll be confident when the promotion comes through. This pattern keeps many stuck in a cycle of waiting, hoping, and wishing. The truth, however, is that the process works in the opposite direction. The feeling of your wish fulfilled must come first. The emotions, thoughts, and assumptions that accompany your goal must be embodied as though they are already a part of your life, even before you see any physical evidence of it. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you create a powerful shift in your consciousness. You are no longer operating from a place of lack, waiting for something outside of yourself to change. Instead, you are acting as though you have already received your desire. You embody the identity of the person you wish to become, the successful, confident individual who is already living the life they dream of. This is not just positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It is a profound shift in consciousness that aligns your internal world with your external reality. The power of this assumption lies in its ability to transform not only how you feel, but also how you perceive the world. When you assume that your desire has already been fulfilled, you begin to see opportunities, solutions, and possibilities that were once invisible to you. You start to notice small, seemingly insignificant details that align with your vision. These are not coincidences, but rather signs that your internal state is beginning to shape your external world. The more you embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the more the universe responds to your energy and brings your desires into form. This process is often referred to as living in the end. Living in the end means you are not simply wishing for something to happen in the future, you are embodying the reality of it right now. It's about fully embracing the present moment as if everything you desire is already yours. This requires a shift in perception. Instead of looking at your current circumstances and thinking, "I'll never get there," you must instead look beyond what is currently in front of you and imagine a world where your desires are already fulfilled. This shift in perspective creates a powerful ripple effect in your life. You begin to make decisions, take actions, and interact with the world as the person you are becoming. Living in the end also means trusting that the universe will align itself with your assumption. Too often we question how something will happen or when it will manifest. These doubts only serve to weaken the power of your assumption. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must also trust that it will come to pass. Trust that the process is unfolding as it should, even if you cannot yet see the results. The universe operates on a frequency of alignment, and when you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your desires, it must respond. This process is not instantaneous for everyone, but the key is persistence. The more you hold the assumption of your wish fulfilled, the more you begin to see changes in your life. It's important to remember that you are not manipulating or controlling the world around you. You are simply tuning yourself to the frequency of your desire. This requires patience and faith, for the external world will always reflect your internal state. But it takes time for the manifestation to appear in physical form. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must also engage in a process of mental discipline. Your mind is constantly active, filled with thoughts that may not always align with your desires. It's natural for doubt and fear to creep in, especially when your circumstances don't immediately reflect your inner assumption. However, the key is to remain steadfast in your belief and to gently redirect your thoughts back to the assumption that your desire is already a reality. This is where mental discipline comes into play. Just as you would train a muscle to grow stronger, you must train your mind to stay focused on the assumption of your wish fulfilled. Through this process, you begin to create a new reality for yourself. The assumption of the wish fulfilled becomes more than just a mental exercise, it becomes a way of life. As you consistently assume the feeling of having already achieved your goal, you begin to see the physical world shift in response. People, circumstances, and opportunities begin to align with your new identity. This is the magic of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It allows you to live in a state of constant creation, where the external world is a reflection of your internal beliefs and assumptions. So, the next time you think about your desires, remember, the key is not to wait for them to come to you. The key is to embody the feeling of already having them. Live in the end, assume that your wishes are already fulfilled, and watch as the world around you responds to your new state of being. The power to create your reality lies within you. Start using it today. Imagine for a moment that you have already achieved your deepest desires. You have everything you've ever wanted: wealth, success, happiness, and fulfillment. Now stop for a moment and ask yourself, how would you live in this new reality? How would you carry yourself, think, and make decisions if your dreams had already been realized? The truth is, you would act very differently. Your behaviors, thoughts, and choices would shift to reflect the life you are living. This shift in action is not just about wishing for change. It's about living as if the change has already occurred. This is where the true power lies, in manifesting your desires and stepping into the reality that you desire. When you want to bring a specific goal into your life, whether it be financial abundance, career success, or personal achievement, the first step is not to focus on the external circumstances that currently exist. The first step is to embody the state of mind and feeling that would come with the fulfillment of your desire. It's not about waiting for things to change in the external world before you feel differently. It's about changing how you feel internally so that the external world must adjust to meet your new state of being. Imagine you have already achieved the goal you're pursuing. For instance, if you wish to become a successful business owner, imagine that you are already running a thriving business. Picture it in vivid detail, how you would feel waking up each day, the sense of pride in your work, the satisfaction of seeing your efforts paying off. Think about how you would conduct yourself when you interact with others, how you would handle challenges, and how confident you would feel in your ability to succeed. Now, the crucial question: what actions would you take if you were already that successful business owner? Would you be making bold decisions, confidently negotiating, or taking risks you once considered too daring? Would you show up differently to meetings, carry yourself with a certain confidence, or even change the way you dress? The reality is that the actions you take would align with the person you have already become. This is where the practice of living as though your desires have already been fulfilled becomes crucial. Too often, people wait for external circumstances to change before they feel the way they think they should. They wait for a paycheck, a promotion, or a new opportunity to present itself before they begin to feel successful or wealthy. However, this is not the way the law of manifestation works. The key is to live in the end, which means acting, thinking, and feeling as though the result is already yours. By embodying the feelings of already having what you desire, you send a message to the universe, your subconscious mind, and your own self-awareness that this reality is not just a dream, but an inevitable outcome. This is where you begin to shape your life, not based on what is, but based on what could be. Your external circumstances will begin to bend and adjust to match the internal shift you've made. The world will start reflecting back to you your assumptions and beliefs, showing you opportunities and aligning you with experiences that match the vibration of the reality you've already created within. But how do you begin living as though your goal has already been achieved? First, you must begin to think and speak in the language of success. Pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth. Are you speaking in terms of lack, limitation, or delay? Or are you speaking in terms of abundance, confidence, and certainty? The language you use is a reflection of your inner beliefs. If you are constantly speaking about what you don't have or what you're waiting for, you are inadvertently reinforcing the idea that you are still in a state of lack. But if you begin to speak as though your goals are already fulfilled, you align yourself with the person who has already reached them. Next, consider your actions. If you truly believe that your goal had already been realized, what would you be doing differently today? If you had all the wealth, success, or recognition that you desired, would you still be waiting for something to happen before taking action? Or would you be stepping out into the world with confidence, making bold moves, and taking steps toward your dreams with certainty? It's essential to start taking actions that reflect your new state of being. This doesn't mean you need to make grand gestures or changes overnight, but even small steps that reflect the person you are becoming can have a profound impact on how quickly your desires begin to manifest. Whether it's investing in your education, applying for a new job, or even simply showing up with more confidence in your interactions, these actions send a message to the universe that you are ready to claim your new reality. Another important aspect of living as though your desires are already fulfilled is how you carry yourself. Your posture, your energy, and the way you hold yourself all communicate something to the world. If you have already reached your goals, you would undoubtedly carry yourself with more confidence and ease. You would walk into a room with the assurance that you are worthy of success, that your achievements are inevitable, and that you belong. You wouldn't be waiting for validation from others because you would already feel validated within yourself. Your self-worth would not be determined by external approval, but by the deep knowing that you are worthy of everything you desire. The more you embody this mindset and live as though your desires have already manifested, the more natural it becomes to take the steps required to bring those desires into your life. You will notice opportunities presenting themselves to you that align with your assumptions. People will be drawn to you because they sense your energy and confidence. Your actions will become more purposeful and directed toward the achievement of your goal. And even when obstacles arise, you will face them with the mindset of someone who knows their success is inevitable. Living as though your goals have already been achieved is a daily practice. It requires mental discipline, focus, and persistence. At times, doubt will creep in, and you may question whether you're truly on the right path. But this is where the power of living in the end really comes into play. You must remain steadfast in your belief, regardless of what is happening in the outside world. The key is to maintain the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled and to act accordingly, even in the face of uncertainty. Your external reality will eventually catch up with your internal state. In the end, living as though your desires are already realized is not just about thinking positively or imagining success. It's about becoming the person who has already achieved those desires. It's about aligning your thoughts, actions, and beliefs with the reality you wish to create. The moment you begin to live as though your dreams are already a part of your life, you unlock the door to the limitless possibilities that await you. Your new reality will emerge, not as a distant dream, but as the life you are already living. Consider for a moment that everything you desire is already within your grasp. The success, the wealth, the recognition, everything you have ever wished for. It exists right now, in this very moment, waiting for you to accept it. The question you must ask yourself is not, how will I get there? But instead, how will I begin to live as though I am already there? The key to unlocking your desires lies not in waiting for the world to shift in your favor, but in shifting your internal world to match the reality you wish to experience. The transformation happens first within, and it is your assumption of having already achieved what you desire that causes your external reality to conform to that assumption. The human mind is incredibly powerful. It is the foundation of everything you experience in life. Your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions shape your world, often in ways you may not even be fully aware of. This is why it is essential to understand the impact of your internal dialogue and the power of your assumptions. You are constantly creating your reality through the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the assumptions you make about yourself and the world around you. Every time you assume a certain outcome, you are effectively setting the course for your life. If you assume that success is inevitable, you will find opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with that assumption. If you assume that failure is your destiny, the universe will conform to that belief as well. The fundamental principle in manifesting your desires lies in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This means that instead of waiting for the conditions to be right before you feel successful, wealthy, or fulfilled, you must feel those emotions right now. The feeling of fulfillment, satisfaction, and success is not something that is dependent on your external circumstances. It is something you can create within yourself at any time. The emotions and assumptions that accompany your desires must be cultivated from within, not based on what is happening around you. What often holds people back is the belief that they must wait for external events to align before they can feel good about their situation. The truth, however, is that the external world is simply a reflection of what is happening inside you. The world cannot deliver what you are not already assuming, and it cannot show you opportunities and solutions if you are not living in the state of being that matches your desires. To bring your dreams into your reality, you must first embody the feeling of already having what you seek. For instance, if you want to experience financial freedom, you must first assume the feeling of being financially free. This does not mean waiting for your bank balance to reach a certain amount before you allow yourself to feel wealthy. It means feeling the emotions of abundance, security, and freedom now. Imagine what it would be like to live your ideal financial life. How would it feel to be free from debt, to have more than enough to support yourself and those you care about, to live without financial worry? What would that freedom feel like in your body? What thoughts would you be thinking if you were already living that reality? Those thoughts and feelings are the ones you must begin to cultivate right now. As you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the most important thing to remember is that you are not pretending or faking it. This is not about lying to yourself or engaging in wishful thinking. This is about stepping into the emotional reality of what you desire and fully embodying that reality as if it were happening right now. You are aligning your mind and emotions with the life you are creating. The more you practice this assumption, the more you will notice that your external reality begins to shift in response to your new state of being. The universe responds to your inner state of being and begins to reflect it in the form of opportunities, people, and events that align with your assumptions. One of the key elements in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is maintaining faith in the unseen. This means trusting in the process, even when your current circumstances do not yet reflect the change you are assuming. It is easy to get discouraged when the external world seems to contradict your desires. However, the key is to remain unwavering in your assumption. Your external world is a reflection of your inner beliefs, and it will eventually catch up with your assumptions. In the interim, you must maintain your internal state of fulfillment and not allow doubt or disbelief to shake your confidence. As you continue to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will notice that your actions begin to change as well. You will start to take steps that are aligned with your new identity, the person who has already achieved the success they desire. These actions are not about forcing things to happen, but rather about responding to the opportunities that arise in your life. As you shift your internal state, your external circumstances will begin to reflect the change, and the opportunities that were once hidden from view will start to appear. You will begin to see the world through the lens of your new assumptions, and you will make decisions that move you toward your desired outcome with confidence. This is not a passive process. Living in the end requires active participation. It requires you to show up every day as the person you are becoming. You must take actions, make decisions, and speak as though your desires are already a reality. As you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your assumed reality, you begin to unlock the doors to your desired life. Opportunities will present themselves to you in ways that you might never have imagined before, and the external world will start to reflect your inner assumptions. The power of this process lies in its simplicity. You do not need to manipulate circumstances or force things to happen. You simply need to embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled and allow the external world to reflect your internal state. This process is not about waiting for things to happen or hoping for change. It is about becoming the person who already has what they desire and living from that place of certainty. The more consistently you maintain the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled, the more your life will begin to reflect that assumption. You'll begin to see evidence of your new reality all around you, and your confidence in the process will continue to grow. As you stay aligned with your assumption, the world around you will align with your internal state. The law of assumption works, and it is working for you right now. The only question left is, are you willing to live as though your desires are already fulfilled? When you begin to understand the power of the mind, you start to realize that your thoughts and beliefs are not simply passing occurrences, they are the building blocks of your reality. Your external world is a reflection of your internal world, and everything you experience, every situation you encounter, is a result of the assumptions and beliefs you have about yourself and the world around you. It's often said that you must first believe in something before you can see it in your physical world. The truth is, you don't need to see it first, you must believe it first. The moment you assume something to be true, you begin to shape your reality accordingly. Your world conforms to your inner state of being. This is the foundation of creating a life that aligns with your deepest desires. To truly understand the art of manifestation, it is crucial to grasp that the key to shaping your reality lies in the assumptions you make about your life. Assumptions are not just idle thoughts or passing wishes. They are deeply ingrained beliefs that you hold to be true, regardless of what the external world presents. These assumptions are often formed from past experiences, societal conditioning, or patterns of thinking that have been reinforced over time. What many fail to realize is that these assumptions are powerful forces that shape everything about our lives. They determine our relationships, our finances, our health, and even the opportunities that come our way. In order to manifest the life you truly desire, you must first understand the power of assumption. The fundamental concept is simple. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. What does that mean? It means living as though your desire has already been realized. It's not enough to wish for something or hope that one day it will come to pass. You must embody the feeling of already having it. This means aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you wish to create. For example, let's say your desire is to be financially independent. Instead of focusing on the lack of money or constantly worrying about how to achieve this goal, begin to live as though you already have financial independence. What would that feel like? Imagine waking up every morning with the certainty that your financial needs are met, that you are free from debt, and that you have more than enough to live the life you desire. Imagine the confidence you would carry in every interaction, knowing that you are financially secure. What would you do differently today if you were already financially free? How would your thoughts and actions change if you truly believed that this reality was already yours? The key is to fully embrace this feeling of fulfillment. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, and the peace that comes with already having your desire. As you embody these feelings, you begin to shift your internal state, and the external world must reflect this shift. You will begin to notice that opportunities for financial abundance begin to show up in your life. Perhaps you will find a new job, receive an unexpected windfall, or encounter someone who can help you achieve your financial goals. The key is to remain steadfast in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, even when the external world has not yet caught up to your internal state. This process is not a one-time exercise or a fleeting thought. It is a way of living. You must consistently assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, regardless of the external circumstances. It is easy to get discouraged when things do not immediately change, but you must remember that the external world is simply reflecting your inner assumptions. If you are unwavering in your assumption, your external reality will eventually align with your inner state. This is the law of assumption at work. Living in the state of the wish fulfilled is not about pretending or wishing for something to happen. It is about deeply knowing that your desire is already a reality. You are not waiting for something to change. You are simply aligning your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. The more you practice this alignment, the more your world will begin to shift. The universe responds to your internal state and brings opportunities, people, and circumstances into your life that reflect your assumptions. It is only through the consistency of your assumption that you begin to see the tangible evidence of your desires. A critical part of this process is being mindful of your thoughts. Your thoughts are the seeds that will either manifest your desires or keep them at bay. Every time you think a thought that contradicts your assumption, you are reinforcing the idea that your desire is not yet realized. For example, if you are assuming the feeling of financial independence, but then have thoughts like, I don't know how I'll ever afford that, or I'm always struggling with money, you are reinforcing the assumption of lack rather than abundance. It is essential to be vigilant with your thoughts, especially when it comes to what you believe to be true about yourself and your desires. Remember, the law of assumption works whether you are consciously aware of it or not. Your assumptions are constantly being reflected in your life, whether they are positive or negative. The challenge is to become more conscious of your assumptions and actively choose those that align with the life you wish to create. It requires discipline and consistency to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled in every moment, but the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. One of the most powerful aspects of the law of assumption is that it bypasses the need for logic or reasoning. Your mind may tell you that it's impossible to achieve your desires, that your current circumstances are too limiting, or that it's unrealistic to expect such change. But the truth is, the mind does not dictate your reality unless you allow it to. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you bypass the limitations of the mind and step into a higher state of being, a state of knowing that what you desire is already yours. This state of knowing is not based on external evidence, but on the inner conviction that your desire is inevitable. It is important to note that assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled does not mean sitting back and waiting for things to fall into your lap. It means taking inspired action from a place of confidence and certainty. When you are living in a state of fulfillment, you will be guided to take actions that move you toward your desires. These actions may not always seem logical or practical, but they will always be aligned with your new internal state. Trust that the steps you are guided to take are the right ones, and follow them with confidence. As you continue to live in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, you will notice that the world around you begins to shift. Opportunities that were once out of reach will begin to present themselves. The people you encounter will reflect your new beliefs and assumptions, and as your external reality begins to change, you will find yourself living a life that is aligned with your deepest desires. Your assumptions are not just thoughts. They are the blueprint for the life you are creating. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are creating a new reality for yourself, one that reflects your inner state of being. In the end, the key to manifesting your desires lies in the power of assumption. You must live as though your desires are already fulfilled, consistently embodying the feelings, thoughts, and actions that align with that reality. The more you practice this, the more your world will begin to reflect your inner assumptions, and the life you desire will become your reality. When you understand the power of the subconscious mind and the role it plays in shaping your reality, you begin to realize that all of your desires are within reach. The reality you experience is nothing more than a reflection of the beliefs and assumptions you hold about yourself, about life, and about what is possible for you. Your subconscious mind is constantly working to bring to life the assumptions you hold, regardless of whether they are positive or negative. This means that if you want to change your life and achieve the success, health, wealth, and happiness you desire, you must first shift the assumptions you hold about yourself and your circumstances. The subconscious mind operates without question. It does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to the feelings and beliefs you impress upon it. This is why it is so important to understand the power of assumption in shaping your reality. When you assume a certain state of being, when you believe something to be true about yourself, your mind works to bring that belief into fruition. If you assume success, your subconscious mind will find ways to make that assumption your reality. If you assume failure, your mind will reinforce that belief as well. One of the most powerful ways to begin shaping your reality is through the use of mental imagery and visualization. When you vividly imagine yourself living the life you desire, you are impressing those images onto your subconscious mind. These images, feelings, and assumptions are like seeds. that, when planted in your subconscious, will begin to take root and manifest in your external world. The more real and vivid the images, the more your subconscious mind will work to bring them to life. It's important to note that this process is not about wishful thinking or merely hoping that something will happen. It is about truly embodying the state of the wish fulfilled. This means that you do not wait for the conditions to be right before you feel successful, wealthy, or loved. You must begin to feel those things right now, in the present moment. This shift in thinking is the key to unlocking the power of your subconscious mind. When you live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your subconscious mind has no choice but to bring that feeling into your physical reality. This process requires consistency and persistence. It's not enough to simply visualize your desires once and then wait for them to manifest. To make lasting changes in your life, you must consistently hold the feeling of your desire fulfilled in your mind. This means that you must think, feel, and act as though your desire has already been realized. It is this unwavering belief and assumption that makes your desire inevitable. The more you reinforce this assumption through your thoughts and emotions, the more you will begin to see it reflected in your external world. The subconscious mind is incredibly powerful, but it is also highly impressionable. It responds to the emotional state you are in, and it works to bring about whatever you believe to be true. This is why it's so important to cultivate a positive emotional state, one that aligns with your desires. The key is to feel the emotions of having already achieved your goal, to feel the satisfaction, the joy, and the gratitude as if it were already yours. When you feel these emotions, your subconscious mind begins to work on your behalf to bring them into your reality. Many people fail to realize that their current circumstances are merely the result of their past assumptions. The financial struggles, the relationship issues, the health challenges, all of these are reflections of the beliefs and assumptions you have held in the past. But the beautiful thing about this realization is that you can change your assumptions at any time. If you are unhappy with your current reality, you have the power to change it by altering the assumptions you hold about yourself. Changing your assumptions is not a matter of simply wishing for things to be different. It requires a deep inner shift. It requires that you change the way you see yourself and the way you perceive the world. If you are stuck in a cycle of negative thinking, or if you believe that success is out of your reach, you must challenge those beliefs and replace them with new, empowering assumptions. Start by imagining what it would be like to already be living your desired life. What would it feel like to be successful, wealthy, and healthy? What thoughts would you be thinking? What actions would you be taking? The more you practice embodying these feelings and thoughts, the more your subconscious mind will work to bring them into your physical reality. One of the most effective ways to shift your assumptions is through the power of affirmation. Affirmations are positive, present tense statements that help to reprogram your subconscious mind. When you affirm something to be true, you are impressing that belief upon your subconscious. For example, if you desire financial abundance, you might repeat affirmations such as, "I am financially free, money flows easily and effortlessly into my life," or "I am worthy of wealth." As you repeat these affirmations with conviction and emotion, you begin to rewire your subconscious mind to accept these new beliefs as truth. The more consistently you use affirmations, the more they begin to shape your reality. This process takes time and persistence, but the results are powerful. Your subconscious mind will begin to accept the new beliefs you are impressing upon it, and your external reality will start to shift to reflect those beliefs. It is important to remember that your thoughts and beliefs are the foundation of your reality. If you want to change your circumstances, you must first change the way you think and feel about them. Another powerful technique for shifting your assumptions is through the practice of mental rehearsal. This involves vividly imagining yourself living the life you desire engaging all of your senses in the process. Visualize yourself already living the life of your dreams. What does it look like, sound like, feel like? Engage with the image as if it were happening in the present moment. The more vivid and real the mental rehearsal, the more powerful the impression on your subconscious mind. By regularly rehearsing your desired reality in your mind, you are reinforcing the assumption that it is already yours. As you continue to shift your assumptions and align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desired reality, you will notice that things begin to change. Opportunities will arise, new people will come into your life, and circumstances will shift to support your goals. Your subconscious mind will begin to work on your behalf, and your external world will begin to reflect the changes you've made internally. Ultimately, the power to create the life you desire lies within you. By changing your assumptions and aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desires, you are setting the stage for a life that reflects your deepest dreams. The key to this process is consistency. You must continue to hold the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled, even when external circumstances suggest otherwise. When you live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the natural flow of creation, and your reality will shift to reflect that alignment. When you begin to examine the deeper nature of your desires and dreams, you start to realize that the key to manifesting them is not about chasing after external circumstances or waiting for opportunities to present themselves. Instead, it is about aligning your inner world, the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold, with the life you want to experience. The external world is merely a mirror, reflecting back to you the beliefs and assumptions you hold in your mind. If you want to change what you see in the mirror, you must first change the image you are holding in your mind. The truth is that the mind is incredibly powerful, and it operates in ways that are often beyond our conscious awareness. Much of what we experience in life is a direct result of the thoughts and beliefs we hold, many of which we are not even consciously aware of. These beliefs are deeply ingrained in our subconscious mind, and they shape the way we see ourselves, the world, and our place within it. Choose you want to change your circumstances, you must first change the beliefs that are driving your actions and reactions. The key to achieving lasting change in your life is through the power of assumption. Assumptions are beliefs that you hold to be true, whether they are based on reality or not. These assumptions shape the way you perceive the world and the actions you take within it. If you assume that you are capable of achieving your desires, you will begin to take the necessary steps toward manifesting them. If you assume that you are not worthy of success or that your desires are out of reach, you will unconsciously create circumstances that reflect those beliefs. At the heart of manifestation is the idea of assumption, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is not about pretending or hoping for something to happen. It is about living as though it has already happened. When you begin to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you align your inner state with the reality you wish to create. It is a subtle but powerful shift in consciousness that begins to reshape your experiences. The first step in this process is to understand that your external circumstances are simply a reflection of your inner state. Your life is a mirror, and the way you see yourself in the world determines what you attract into your life. If you want to manifest your desires, you must first cultivate the inner feeling of already having them. This means shifting your focus from what is lacking in your life to what is already abundant and available to you. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, focus on what you already possess and begin to feel gratitude for it. The more you express gratitude for the things you already have, the more you invite abundance into your life. When you consistently embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your external reality begins to conform to this new inner state. Opportunities begin to present themselves. People enter your life who support your goals, and circumstances begin to shift in your favor. This is the power of assumption at work. It is not about forcing or struggling to make things happen, but about aligning yourself with the natural flow of life and allowing the universe to bring your desires into your experience. Living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled requires more than just thinking positive thoughts or hoping for the best. It requires a deep inner conviction, a knowing that your desires are already on their way to you. This inner conviction must be unwavering, even when external circumstances suggest otherwise. If you are waiting for the world to change before you can feel good about yourself, you are operating from a place of lack. However, if you begin to feel good about yourself and your desires now, even before they manifest, you are operating from a place of abundance. One of the most effective tools for cultivating the feeling of the wish fulfilled is visualization. Visualization allows you to mentally experience the reality you desire, vividly imagining the sights, sounds, and emotions that come with it. When you engage in visualization, you are impressing these images onto your subconscious mind. The more real and vivid these mental images become, the more power they have to shape your external reality. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. So when you vividly imagine yourself living the life you desire, your mind begins to believe it is true, and it works to bring it into your experience. The key to successful visualization is to feel the emotions that come with your imagined reality. It is not enough to simply picture the scenes in your mind. You must also feel the emotions that come with them. Imagine the excitement, the joy, the peace, or the satisfaction that you would feel if your desires were already fulfilled. As you feel these emotions, you are aligning your inner state with the reality you wish to create. This alignment is the key to manifesting your desires. In addition to visualization, another powerful tool for aligning yourself with the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the use of affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that help to reprogram your subconscious mind by affirming that your desires are already realized. When you repeat these affirmations with conviction and belief, you begin to impress them upon your subconscious mind, reinforcing the assumption that your desires are already manifesting. For example, if your desire is to be financially abundant, you might affirm, "I am financially free," or "money flows easily into my life." By repeating these affirmations daily, you are reinforcing the assumption that financial abundance is already a part of your life. Another essential aspect of living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled is taking inspired action. Manifestation is not about waiting for things to happen. It is about being in alignment with your desires and taking action when prompted. When you live in the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled, you will feel guided to take certain actions that will lead you closer to your goal. These actions may seem small or even insignificant at first, but they are aligned with the flow of abundance, and they will eventually lead to larger opportunities. It is essential to trust your intuition and act on the inspiration that arises from within. As you continue to live in the state of the wish fulfilled, you will begin to see evidence of your desires manifesting in your life. This may happen in subtle ways at first, but over time, the external world will reflect the changes you have made within yourself. The more you practice living in the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled, the more quickly and easily your desires will materialize. The key is consistency. You must consistently assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, regardless of external circumstances. Even when things do not appear to be going your way, remain steadfast in your assumption. Trust that the universe is working to bring your desires into your reality, and stay in the feeling of already having what you want. Over time, as you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you wish to create, you will find that your life begins to transform. The assumptions you hold about yourself, your worth, and your potential will shape the circumstances and experiences that come into your life. You will begin to attract the people, opportunities, and events that are in alignment with your desires. The external world is simply a reflection of your inner world, and when you change the way you think and feel about yourself and your desires, you begin to change the reality you experience. In this way, the power to manifest your desires lies within you. By aligning yourself with the feeling of the wish fulfilled and living as though your desires have already been realized, you begin to create a life that reflects your deepest dreams. Trust the process, remain consistent, and know that everything you desire is already on its way to you. The key to manifesting any desire you hold in your heart lies in understanding the profound power of your imagination and how it shapes your reality. What you imagine, what you feel, and what you believe is not just a fleeting daydream. It is the foundation upon which your reality is built. Every image you create in your mind, every emotion you experience, and every assumption you hold becomes a blueprint that is impressed upon the fabric of your life. If you want to manifest your desires, whether it be wealth, success, love, or health, there is no more powerful tool at your disposal than the ability to consciously control your imagination. Yeah, imagination is not just a creative process or a form of entertainment. It is a divine power, a creative force that has the potential to transform your life. The images and scenes you imagine in your mind are not mere fantasies. They are seeds planted in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. These seeds, when nurtured with belief, conviction, and emotion, will eventually sprout and manifest in your external world. In the same way that a gardener plants a seed in the soil and nurtures it with care, you must plant your desires in the soil of your mind and nourish them with the emotion of having already received them. It is important to understand that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts as fact whatever you impress upon it. This is why imagination is such a powerful tool in the process of manifestation. When you vividly imagine yourself already living your desired life, your subconscious mind accepts that image as true and begins to work to bring it into reality. The more real and vivid your imagination becomes, the more your subconscious mind will bring those images to life in your external world. Imagination is not confined to the realm of daydreaming. It is the creative force that shapes your destiny. The key is to consciously use your imagination to create the life you desire. Rather than letting your thoughts wander aimlessly, take control of your mental images and direct them toward your goals. This requires discipline and focus. It requires that you consciously choose the images you wish to impress upon your subconscious mind, rather than allowing random, negative thoughts to dominate your mental landscape. The power of imagination is not just in the images you create, but also in the feelings you associate with those images. It is not enough to simply picture yourself achieving your desires. You must also feel the emotions that come with them. The emotion of having already achieved your goal is the driving force that propels the manifestation process. When you feel the joy, satisfaction, or peace of already having your desire, you align your subconscious mind with the reality you wish to create. The subconscious mind is deeply emotional, and it responds to the feelings you generate, working tirelessly to bring those feelings into your physical world. One of the most effective ways to harness the power of imagination is through the practice of visualization. Visualization is the act of vividly imagining yourself already living your desired life, engaging all of your senses in the process. To visualize effectively, you must see the scenes clearly in your mind's eye. Imagine what your life will look like when your desires have been fulfilled. What does it feel like? What are you doing? Who are you with? The more detailed and vivid the visualization, the more powerful the impression it will make on your subconscious mind. Visualization is not simply a mental exercise. It is a deeply emotional experience. As you visualize yourself living your ideal life, you must also feel the emotions that accompany it. The joy, excitement, pride, and gratitude of having already achieved your goal must be real and tangible. The more you feel these emotions, the more your subconscious mind will believe that your desire has already been fulfilled. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. So when you feel the emotions of having already received your desire, your mind begins to work to make it a reality. In addition to visualization, you must also practice living in the state of the wish fulfilled. This means acting, thinking, and feeling as though your desires have already manifested. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions must be in alignment with your desires. For example, if you desire financial abundance, You must begin to think and feel as though you are already financially free. You must make decisions, take actions, and adopt attitudes that reflect the assumption that your desire has already been fulfilled. Living in the state of the wish fulfilled requires faith and conviction. It requires that you believe without doubt that your desire is already yours, even if the external circumstances suggest otherwise. Faith is not about waiting for the world to change before you can feel good about yourself. It is about feeling good about yourself now, regardless of your external circumstances. When you live in the feeling of already having your desire, you align yourself with the energy of creation, and your reality begins to shift in your favor. The process of manifestation is not about forcing things to happen or struggling to make your desires a reality. It is about aligning yourself with the natural flow of creation and allowing your desires to come to you. The universe works in harmony with your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. When you live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the universe will move to bring your desires into your experience. It is not about forcing or controlling the process. It is about trusting that your desires are already on their way to you and allowing them to unfold in their own time. Imagination is the key that unlocks the door to your desires. By using your imagination consciously and deliberately, you are shaping the reality you wish to experience. You are planting seeds in the soil of your subconscious mind, and with time, those seeds will grow into the life you have imagined. The more vividly you imagine your desires, the more real they become in your subconscious mind. And as your subconscious mind works to bring them to life, your external reality will begin to reflect the changes you have made within yourself. It is important to remember that manifestation is not an overnight process. It requires patience and persistence. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a plant, your desires will take time to manifest in your life. However, by consistently using your imagination to create the life you desire, and by living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will begin to see evidence of your desires coming to fruition. The most important thing to remember is that your imagination is a powerful creative force. It is not something to be taken lightly. The images you hold in your mind and the feelings you associate with them are the building blocks of your reality. If you want to manifest your desires, you must take control of your imagination and direct it toward your goals. When you do this, you tap into a creative power that is greater than anything you could ever consciously comprehend. Your imagination has the ability to transform your life, and once you learn to harness its power, nothing will be impossible for you. So, take the time to nurture your imagination, use it to create the life you desire, visualize your desires with vivid detail, feel the emotions of already having them, and live in the state of the wish fulfilled. Trust that the universe is working to bring your desires into your reality, and allow yourself to receive the abundance that is already on its way to you. Your imagination is the gateway to your dreams, and when you learn to master it, you will unlock the door to a life beyond your wildest imagination. The power of assumption and imagination lies in the understanding that the external world mirrors the inner world. Every circumstance, event, or relationship that you experience is a reflection of your inner state of being, your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. The world does not operate by chance or by accident. It operates by the law of cause and effect, where the causes are your internal beliefs and assumptions, and the effects are the experiences you encounter. If you want to change your life, you must first change the assumptions that govern your reality. In every moment, you are assuming something about yourself, about others, and about the world around you. These assumptions are not always conscious, but they are nonetheless powerful. They shape your actions, influence your perceptions, and ultimately determine the outcomes you experience. Most people go through life without realizing that they are constantly shaping their reality through their assumptions. They believe that the world is happening to them, that they are at the mercy of external forces. But the truth is that you are the one creating your world, whether you realize it or not. The first step in harnessing the power of assumption is to recognize that you are the creator of your reality. You are not a passive observer in the world. You are an active participant. Your assumptions are the building blocks of your life. If you want to change your circumstances, you must first change the assumptions you are holding. This requires you to become conscious of your thoughts and beliefs and to begin deliberately choosing the assumptions that align with the life you want to create. When you consciously choose an assumption, you are creating a mental image of the life you want to live. This image is not just a fleeting thought or a vague wish. It is a vivid, detailed representation of your desired reality. The key to successful assumption is to live as though your desire has already been fulfilled. This is not about waiting for the external world to change first. It is about changing your internal world so that it reflects the reality you wish to experience. Living in the assumption of the wish fulfilled means assuming that what you desire is already yours. This is the fundamental principle of manifestation. Instead of focusing on what is lacking in your life, you shift your attention to what is already present in your inner world. You begin to feel, think, and act as if your desires have already come true. When you do this, your outer world must eventually conform to the inner image you are holding. This is the law of assumption in action. The power of assumption is not limited to material desires such as wealth or success. It applies to every area of your life. Whether you want to experience better health, harmonious relationships, or inner peace, the same principle applies. By assuming that your desired outcome is already a reality, you align yourself with the frequency of that outcome, and the universe works to bring it into your experience. This shift in consciousness requires you to cultivate faith. Faith is not a passive belief that things will get better someday. It is an active, unwavering belief that your desires have already been fulfilled. Faith is the knowing that your assumption is true, regardless of what your external circumstances may suggest. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are walking in faith, trusting that your desires are already on their way to you. You do not need to see the evidence yet to believe it is coming. You simply know that it is on its way. One of the most powerful tools for developing faith in your assumption is mental rehearsal. This is the practice of mentally experiencing the desired outcome as if it has already happened. Through visualization and imagination, you step into the experience of having what you desire. You see yourself already living your dream life, and you feel the emotions that come with it. These feelings are not just fantasies. They are the key to impressing your subconscious mind with the belief that your desires are already a reality. Mental rehearsal is not just about imagining the external circumstances of your desire. It is about embodying the emotions that would accompany it. For example, if your desire is to be financially abundant, you must not only imagine yourself surrounded by money and material possessions, but you must also feel the emotions of financial freedom. Feel the joy, relief, and gratitude that would accompany the manifestation of your desire. Now, the more vividly you can imagine these feelings, the more real they become to your subconscious mind. And as your subconscious mind accepts these feelings as true, it works to bring them into your physical reality. Faith also requires persistence. It is not enough to assume that your desires have already been fulfilled once and then wait for them to materialize. The key to successful manifestation is to persist in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, even when external circumstances seem to contradict your beliefs. The world may not change overnight, but by remaining consistent in your assumption, you are training your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. Over time, this persistence will pay off, and your desires will begin to manifest in ways you could not have imagined. It is important to remember that the power of assumption works through feelings, not just thoughts. Thoughts alone are not enough to bring about change. You must feel the reality of your desires as if they have already been fulfilled. It is the combination of thought and feeling that creates the powerful mental impression necessary for manifestation. This is why it is not enough to simply think positive thoughts or repeat affirmations. You must live in the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled. And this feeling must be strong, genuine, and unwavering. Living in the assumption of the wish fulfilled requires letting go of doubt and disbelief. It requires you to trust in the process of manifestation and to believe that what you desire is already on its way to you. Doubt and fear are the enemies of manifestation because they create resistance in your mind. When you doubt that your desires will manifest, you are reinforcing the belief that they are not already yours. But when you choose to believe without question that your desire is already fulfilled, you align yourself with the energy of creation, and your desires must come into being. The key to success with the power of assumption is to practice it consistently. It is not a one-time exercise or a quick fix. It requires dedication, focus, and unwavering faith in the process. Every time you consciously choose to assume the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled, you are reinforcing the belief that your desires are already on their way. Over time, this repetition creates new neural pathways in your brain, making it easier and easier to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when external circumstances suggest otherwise. When you master the art of assumption, you realize that nothing is out of your reach. Whatever you desire can be yours if you are willing to assume that it is already yours. The universe does not work through effort or struggle. It works through alignment. When you align your inner world with the reality you wish to create, the external world must conform to that alignment. The power of assumption is not just a mental exercise. It is the key to unlocking the creative power within you. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are stepping into the flow of abundance and allowing the universe to deliver your desires to you. When we look back at everything shared, one truth stands tall above all others. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner assumptions. To become a millionaire in 30 days, or to experience any form of transformation, you must first become wealthy in consciousness. The riches, the opportunities, the changes you seek are not waiting somewhere outside of you. They are born from within. As you persist in the assumption of your fulfilled desire, you plant seeds in the unseen realm that must grow and break forth into the world of form. It is not ambition alone that shapes destiny, but imagination fused with unwavering belief. Your inner conversations, your repeated mental images, your silent certainties, these are the builders of your experience. If you can occupy the state of your fulfilled desire, if you can feel it real before it ever appears, then you've already claimed it. The world will reorganize itself around your conviction. All things are possible to the one who dwells in the feeling of already having. The law of assumption is not a mere concept. It is a doorway. And the key is your disciplined, persistent, joyful assumption that what you desire is already yours. Assume it, feel it, live from it, and the world will echo back your conviction with perfect precision. But the question is simple. Will you dare to believe in the reality of your imagination more than the facts in front of you? Because if you do, then all things, yes, even becoming a millionaire in 30 days, will move from the invisible into the inevitable.